We're multiplying fractions for this video. Multiplying fractions is way easier than adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. So unlike adding or subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, to multiply you simply multiply the numerators. 3 times 2 is 6, and multiply the denominators. 8 times 3 is 24. And then simply reduce the fraction to its simplest form. For this one, it would be 1/4. Now, to save yourself a little bit of time, what you could do is cross-reduce. What that means is you're going to look at the denominator on one side and the numerator on the other, and if they share common factors, you can actually reduce those fractions. So let's go ahead and do that with this particular problem. So 3 and 3 obviously have common factors of 3, so that gets reduced to 1. And then 2 and 4 have common factors of 2. So when I divide both by 2, I get 1 over here and then 4 on this side. 1 times 1 is 1, and that's evidence down here. And then 4 times 1 is 4. So that's two ways to solve for multiplying fractions. You can either multiply the numerators and then multiply denominators and then simplify your answer, or you can cross-reduce in order to simplify before you multiply. Now let's look at an example where we have a mixed number. Now we can tackle this in one of two ways. The first way is to make our mixed number an improper fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So our improper fraction would be 7 over 2 times 3/4. And then you can multiply this like you would a regular fraction. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 4 is 8. And then you would need to create a mixed number with this again. 8 goes into 21 2 times, with 5 left over, and there will be our answer. Another way we can solve this is to actually break up our mixed number. Instead of making an improper fraction with it, just break it into the whole number and the fraction. And then we're sort of using distributive property here to multiply our whole number by 3/4 and then our other part by 1/2. Now, what we did here essentially was this. 3 and 1/2 is the same thing as 3 plus 1/2. So we're treating this as two different segments, but essentially it's the same thing. I'm not saying this is an easier method. In fact, in some ways it's a little more complicated, but if you don't want to have to deal with large numbers, it may be a way that might work for you. So looking over on the left hand side here, 3 times 3 is 9 over 4, plus 1 times 3 is 3, and 2 times 4 is 8. The issue we write that comes up here, of course, is now we're dealing with two numbers with, or two fractions with unlike denominators, and we're adding, so we do have to treat this as an addition problem now with two unlike denominators. This one's not too difficult though, because we just need to double this fraction here in order to get an equivalent fraction or common denominator to add it. So when we do that, we're going to multiply this side by 2 over 2. That'll give us 18/8 plus 3/8 will give us 21/8. And of course at this time we need to make this a mixed number again. So 8 goes into 21 2 times, 5 left over, and there's our answer, 2 5/8.